This is the first in a three-part series on what reality potentially is, from a truly practical perspective. Forget philosophy and spiritual theory and pondering, what the F can we do to actually get free, to improve our lives, to heal? That is the purpose of these three pieces. The first step to improving any area of our lives, changing anything we are unhappy with or that needs adjustment, is taking responsibility for what we don't like. The more areas of our lives we can take responsibility for, the more power we have to make changes, and thus improve our quality of life. Makes sense? Talk to most spiritual people and they'll agree, sure, we create our reality. Start asking questions and you'll soon be told that maybe they have created some good kids, but they don't know why they misbehave in school, or they created the great job, but not the a-hole coworker, or the lovely house, but not the central heating which continues to cause problems, or the traffic on the way home from work, or the war in the Middle East. You see where I'm going? How about everything that enters your life, I mean absolutely every single thing, is a mirror of your consciousness? We're all aware of you spot it, you got it? Well, let's take that a few steps further. How about everything that enters your life, I mean absolutely every single thing, is a mirror of your consciousness? That means if you turn on the TV and flick through the channels, every random station and program is an energetic reflection of your own vibration. So the wars you come across, the reality TV show or sports game or documentary on how the rainforest is being destroyed, is you, it's all you, an energetic reflection, a mirror of your vibration. When you walk into the supermarket, all those people are in some way frequency specific to you. A baby cries 2 aisles away and it irks you, somebody blocks the aisle with their trolley, you have to ask them to let you pass. It's all your reflection, everything. We've got 3 camps. 1. I don't fully create my reality, I do what I can, but there is lots of coincidences and random occurrences, and outside influences. 2. I co-create my reality. I can focus and pour my energy into manifesting an object or experience or healing, but I co-create, so the energy of those around me, or the collective energy of the world, could sweep through my tiny reality. In short, I am still at the mercy of others. 3. Everything that enters my awareness is in a way, tailor-made for me. Everything I see is all a projection of my consciousness. I control everything in some way. The world, the game responds off the differing layers of consciousness I am not consciously aware of, triggering me, serving me, pleasing me and frustrating me. Ho'oponopono. Ho'oponopono is a Hawaiian practice of cleaning our consciousness, in short, being grateful for everything that enters our lives, be it enjoyable or not so much. To be grateful for it, make peace with it, and thus release it and move on. When challenging feelings and experiences present themselves, we have a habit of trying to escape. The obvious methods are through distraction using alcohol, television, our phone, food, etc., or simply running away. But regardless of distraction, we rarely take responsibility for what is presented. The aim is to get away from it as quickly as possible. What is being presented to me more and more at the moment, is that all that enters my life is my reflection, all the wonderful stuff, and the stuff I'm ashamed of or dislike or try to ignore, all of it. We are magnets, drawing to us 3D representations of our overall vibration. When I look at this with new insights, I see how incredibly lucky we are, how gifted this tool is. In every moment, if I choose, I can simply look around you right now, at your surroundings, the people, traffic, noises, quiet, it all vibrates with you, the good stuff and the bad stuff. Hew Len, with the help of Joe Vitale, brought Ho'oponopono to the world in a book called Zero Limits. Legend has it that Hew Len was a psychiatric doctor in a hospital in Hawaii. This hospital contained patients who had been there long term, they would likely never be released, they were too far gone, it was that kind of place. Over a period of 4 years, Len managed to cure or heal these patients and they were all released. So this is my understanding of what happened. Len sat in his office, read over the files of these patients and cleaned on them. As he cleaned, they improved, and bit by bit the overall energy of the hospital improved, staff morale increased, people were happier at work, and all in all, the place became a better place to be, and bit by bit, one thing led to another, and the patients began to be released. So how did Hew Len clean? Len recognized the conditions of the patients as his responsibility, as a reflection of his own consciousness, thus he worked on himself, not on those outside of himself. He repeated 4 phrases repeatedly to himself, with feeling and belief: I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. The practice of Ho'oponopono is simply repeating these phrases with feeling and belief during those challenging moments and thus healing this vibration. You see, our inner frequency has drawn this experience to us. If we acknowledge this experience, and make peace with it, heal it, the vibration changes and thus we will no longer draw that vibrational experience to us again. Did Hew Len really heal the patients? About 10 years ago my motorbike was stolen while I was in work one day, so I was forced to go online and source a bike that I had wanted for quite a while. I found 2, and bought the 2, sold 1, and later my stolen bike turned up so I got it back, and sold it. For a short time I had 3 bikes. I could tell this story another way, the way I see it. I once manifested 2 motorbikes after 3 months of daily focus exercises. I spent at least 1 hour every morning and an hour every evening practicing breathing exercises, candle focus, and various visualizations to pour my energy into this creation of this specific motorbike I wanted, and draw it to me. When my bike was stolen that day, of course I did not realize what was happening, but by the time I had my stolen bike returned and still had the 2 newly purchased bikes, I understood the process. Seek to heal or seek to manifest, how it may unfold may not be recognizable to the conscious mind. So did Hew Len cure those patients? Well, from the outside, things improved, pieces fell into place, and the universe rearranged itself to reflect healed and healthy patients. We are blessed with constant feedback, when I choose to acknowledge it, and this is a learning process, to retrain the brain to be conscious, to look, pay attention, to my clothes, my car, the dirt, the traffic, the rain, the lovely people and difficult people. It's all feedback to me that I can choose to take on board and work with, to chart a new course, or not. How do I chart that course? I love it. I look at this physical reality around me and take full responsibility for what is shown to me. I feel grateful for this reflection as I can see clearly what needs to be loved, healed, and released. There is no spoon. Part 2, I am the problem and solution. To carry on from Part 1, we may struggle with some heavy experiences in our lives such as deaths, accidents, abuse, etc. It's not easy to take responsibility for these things and it takes time and regular reminders as it's very easy to slip into blame or victim mode. A couple of points I am exploring regarding those heavy and dark experiences we've had. We have invited them. Our conscious mind really does not know what is going on, and can expend a lot of time and energy thinking it knows or scrambling to try to know. Our higher self on the other hand does know, and to take it further, our higher self has charted a course before this incarnation, possibly hundreds or thousands of years ago. The latter is my experience, of what we wish to experience and learn. So there are agreements, the soul contract, with other beings and people, to work with us. Nothing enters our lives unless we have invited it in some way at some time. We vibrate with all we interact with. Dark entities or hard experiences, all vibrate with us. If we did not vibrate at that frequency on some level, they would not be able to enter or connect with us. A quote by Bashar, quote, "It's not that others are not real, it's that what you experience is made out of your own energy in your reality." End quote. Why would we choose the difficult lives? From the start, the choice to suffer is a conscious mind experience. The arc of our lifetimes is chosen from the higher self before birth. How we respond to those experiences is our choice when we're here. We can choose to wallow in self-pity, to suffer, or we can do our best to work our way out of the situation and learn to accept it, and release any charge of pain it holds for us. When our higher self has decided what it wants to learn, let's use courage as an example, we may then enter many lifetimes facing all sorts of challenging situations, with family, disease, war, who knows. All those challenges would gradually or quickly force us to stand up, to assert ourselves, to learn courage. Now this may take a long time, and we may have to encounter all manner of nasty situations. We may be robbed, murdered, raped, who knows. In this life we may find ourselves oppressed or in a minority, giving us something to push back against, to stand up against, to find and develop our courage. Courage in these instances comes through self-responsibility. When we remain a victim we are powerless, events happen to us that we are unable to change. When we find a little courage, we realize we are responsible and there are steps we can take to try to change. The likes of courage is earned, these strengths are not granted freely. The great warrior is great because he has been in many battles and faced much adversity, been bruised and battered along the way but managed to learn from the lessons. Gifts that help speed up our spiritual growth. Being in a relationship, we are mirrored by a partner, all the nice stuff and all the ugly stuff, we learn fast. Being around those challenging people rather than running away from them. If you feel a strong dislike, if there is a charge around them, then you have work in this area. Once the charge is healed you can see your progress. Ramtha, in his book, That Elixir Called Love, covers the soul contract we have with our children. We contracted with them the same as with our partner and parents, to mirror us. Modern parents like to think they have kids for them to be a little us, show the world how great we are, or only do good things or nice things. This really depends on the contract you have with them. Everything they mirror to you was agreed upon to challenge you to grow, to love that part of you that you have disliked for so long. One huge purpose of having children is for them to show us our greatest areas needing work. Unconditional love is the love of this being for continually teaching us, mirroring us, and fulfilling their role in our contract. It is unconditional love that absolves any charge towards the child, partner, other person, all of which are really our own mirrored unwelcome traits. A few weeks back a friend sent me an interview with Bashar, who is a channeled being from 300 years in our future. I was in the right place at the right time to hear what he had to say. Find the full clip below. I highly recommend a full listen. Most relevant here are the following two quotes. Quote, "It's all happening internally, there is no external." End quote. Quote, "It's not that others are not real, it's that what you experience is made out of your own energy in your reality." End quote. We are not consciously aware of what our soul contracts are with those around us. I was lucky in a recent ceremony to be shown what my contract is with a member of my family. It's not pretty. But overall I understand the purpose of why we chose to be connected in this life and previous ones, and now the charge on my part towards this person has certainly lessened and I am grateful to them, in my higher moments, for fulfilling their role in our agreement. Although I find these lessons extremely challenging, It's worth remembering there is a lesson here, and the need to change or fix the other falls away. The state of the world. So all the angry people are just a representation of our vibration. What about all those who need our help? What about the movement to save others, or fight the 1%, or waken others up? Well, anything that you feel a charge against, is within you. If you are outraged at people starving in Africa, or Amazon not paying enough tax, or anything at all for that matter, the emotion is within you. Our emotions are feedback. This outrage is our own pain crying out for attention. It is a piece of us lacking our own love and acceptance. By healing this piece of us, we are not only raising the vibration of ourselves and the entire planet, but we are also energetically and consciously in a better place to be of service to others. Some will argue that these emotions are what make us human. Logic, intelligence, our own gut instinct guides us. We do not need exhausting outrage to tell us to help someone. Today we have whole movements of people dedicating their lives trying to save others. If there is a charge, this is merely escapism. The Zen monk helps enlighten his students. He may help his village providing counsel, but he is not knocking on doors trying to convert and save souls. The early Christians did indeed do this. Today's environmental movement and protest culture is exactly about that, trying to force others to their way of thinking, in order for themselves to feel at peace. As Carl Jung said, quote, "Perhaps I myself am the enemy who must be loved." End quote. We can still be in service to others, once we recognize the reflection within ourselves, and providing we feel moved by spirit to work, rather than driven by our own unease and discomfort to force change. To wrap up, a recent great quote from Michelle Walling about how we are now transitioning from the third dimension into the fifth dimension. Quote, "Thinking you will get to the pearly gates of 5D by remaining in service to others is an illusion. To be distracted and overworked in service to others retards spiritual growth. What I have learned is I will get to 5D much faster by focusing on 5D and focusing on myself. To be distracted with too much 3D service will keep you rooted in 3D." End quote. There is no spoon. Part 3, Becoming Whole. Moving on from what we have learned in the first two parts, absolutely everything is a mirror of our consciousness, and even the heavy experiences were agreed to by our higher self as a learning experience. The purpose of this article is practicality. What can we do day to day to make use of that awareness? What you can do to begin. Write a list of people who come to mind right now in your life, 10 to 15 people, close people, you see regularly, or anyone who pops into your mind, can be friends, co-workers, family. Underneath each person, list the things that make you uncomfortable about that person. I mean, he seems very opinionated, or argumentative. Things that you don't like about each person. Now this may be your best friend, that's okay, but there are things about even those closest to us that we dislike. As you work through these people, you'll start to see that they will all share a few of these traits you dislike. As you continue to work through, if you have a little self-awareness, you may also start to see that you have these traits too, although they may express themselves in a different way. You will begin to see, by looking at those around you, you are basically looking at yourself, reflected in others. We're all seeing the same things. We all like and dislike variations of the same qualities and character traits. It's nothing to be ashamed of. This is part of the journey home, to acknowledge and embrace all of who we are, not just the aspects our ego or society finds acceptable. The actions that these people do, which you dislike, are irrelevant. You can't change them. Changing others is not the point. The only relevance is your feeling. So you may think, but I don't insult waiters in the restaurant. What I say to you is, what feeling does this act bring up in you? It could be a feeling of when you were a child and a parent did exactly this or something very different. The act is irrelevant although it may come to you. The feeling is important. Into action. Acknowledge, it's very easy to get carried away with our emotions and the external situation. Look around you, look at the world protesting, blaming bankers, politicians, parents, etc. etc. This is all projection of inner turmoil. So everything we see is a projection of our own state. But the stronger the charge of emotion, the more desperate a piece of our being needs healing. So to observe the news and not be bothered, means the item being presented is still a reflection of you, but if there is no charge of anger or outrage etc., then you are in a relatively good place. If the charge is strong, I try to instantly look within. If there is no charge, but I become aware that this is still my reflection, I still look within as I aim to heal all of my reflection, not just the highly emotional parts. I don't wish to tip along through a mildly comfortable life, I seek true freedom, so why not push the boat out and heal it all, raising our vibration in all areas. Observe within, this is key. When you are in pain, and you meet a friend, you seek support, you don't want the friend to be checking their phone and looking around, you want full attention, you want them to be there for you, to care about you, to be fully focused on you, to listen and hear what you need to say. So when you look within, observe that initial charge of emotion, let's say the anger at your boss, observe yourself, be still. Give yourself the very same focus and attention you would want from your friend as I mentioned above. Not a fleeting how do I feel. As you remain present your feelings will change, you'll begin to see what is under that anger, you may see a memory of where it is from. Honor yourself, give yourself that time and attention. Be grateful, our lives are not random, there are no coincidences. We are being shown our reflection constantly so we know where we are emotionally and spiritually, so we can choose to accept or raise the vibration to a higher experience. The anger at your boss is a gift. In this moment your higher self has sent you a challenging experience, that you can learn from, heal the pain associated with it, and be freer, lighter as a result. The pain you feel is a piece of you that is being returned to you. Distraction or reaction results in this piece being rejected yet again, until the next time. Now is the time to accept and welcome these parts of yourself, to become whole. Love, a fleeting I love you is not enough, disconnected repetition of a mantra is not what you want when you meet a friend for support. This can take practice, to feel love for the broken parts of yourself is not an easy instant state. Practice, just keep going, keep trying, work through the 4 steps and let go. It is the ego that wants our lives to be a certain way, level of success, wealth, partner. When we truly see how vulnerable we are, this can be challenging to the ego. By all means, we can take steps later to improve our lot in life, but in these moments of healing, it is important to embrace ourselves, however broken or in pain we may be. It may help to see this pain as a small child, perhaps you as a small child, would you scold it or would you happily embrace it and love it, regardless of its acting out? Your feelings are not about changing the rest of the world so that you feel better, your feelings are an indicator to you to observe and heal yourself if there is a charge that doesn't feel good, or continue creating and enjoying what does feel good. Remaining in love and gratitude for longer and longer periods will continually heal the pain that is sent back to us to be healed, and also send out the enjoyable vibrations to generate yet more positive experiences. If we respond to a situation with anger and pain, we are generating yet more anger and pain, not to mention rejecting that piece of ourselves that seeks reintegration and love. This work in my awareness is the same as a soul retrieval in shamanism. A quote by Bashar, quote, How you respond to circumstances is what determines your state of being. End quote. The basics. Acknowledge, see the outer situation that is being presented to you. This is not chaos, this is a learning opportunity. Observe within, rather than becoming lost in the distraction of the outer situation. Look within and observe your own feelings, not just for a fleeting instant. Be patient, observe yourself. Be grateful, give thanks to your higher self for giving you this opportunity to receive and heal a part of you that you once cast out. Love, beneath the reaction you initially had to the outside situation, is often our own pain. Embrace this piece of you. A quote by Bashar, quote, "Circumstances don't matter, only your state of being matters." End quote. Go easy on yourself. People can tend to get overwhelmed with this information at the beginning, and when they have a bad day, get frustrated and confused, not knowing how or why it reflects them. Don't worry, if it's too much, forget about it and move on. Of course, I still have my argumentative moments, I still get confused and frustrated, but I also have the moments of clarity when I have the option to step outside that habitual pattern, and break that cycle. You won't grasp this instantly, bit by bit, little by little. Through self-observation you'll begin to see the reflection is a gift to you, and bit by bit you will feel, you will know in your core, that part of you is returning home. You are receiving your lost self, the neglected and rejected pieces of your soul from this and previous lives. This is the homecoming. This is the freeing of darker energy as we rise up into the fifth dimension. Editor's note. The following audio is Gav discussing this topic. Also, there are 4 videos that were included in these articles, and you can find the links to them down in the description box below this video.
How's it going? So this is a video on reality, and this is a fascinating subject for me at the moment. It's all consuming, and I'd say I'm still in the middle of it. Well, maybe I'll always be in the middle of it. It's always going to be evolving, and our understanding is always going to change. So I've written 3 articles on this. So years and years ago, I had a technique that was taught to me of removing fears and resentments from our consciousness. So it encouraged self-observation, and we would write down and we would list our fears and we would ask God to remove them and so on. So I was used to that process. It worked. It helped me to observe myself. It didn't remove the fears and resentments, or that wasn't my experience. It did help to take them out of my mind. It helped to gain a release temporarily. Fast forward years and years and years, and now we were told, we create our reality, and you spot it, you've got it, and we're a reflection of other people, or they're a reflection of us, and so on. And then a friend a few years ago presented me with Ho'oponopono, which is, I haven't taken a Ho'oponopono class. I've watched some videos, read a book on it, read some articles, that's kind of it. But I don't believe that any labeled technique has a monopoly on any of these practices. They're just, there's a lot of groups that use similar techniques and views, they just name them differently. So Ho'oponopono is about basically cleaning, again observing our consciousness and healing or cleaning or loving, releasing emotional reaction to the situation. In recent ceremonies, really, I have been shown more so, and outside of ceremonies, I should say, in my meditations, or just I'm being seated, receiving downloads or receiving information, receiving awareness of what is this place and what's the purpose of everything. Why is everything here in this manner? More and more I'm being shown that everything really is a mirror reflection of my own vibration. You know, for a long time I was unsure if other people exist or if it's just me, if I'm in the virtual reality world, if I'm sitting somewhere in a room with a headset on, none of you exist and I'm just playing a computer game. This is my world and all this stuff reacts with my vibration and so on. So now I'm at the awareness that I do think that you exist, that other people exist, but the only way I can explain it is that I feel it's like everybody, if you imagine everyone as like a multifaceted diamond, loads and loads of different sides. At any given moment, I'm vibrating, at a certain frequency, up, down, different levels. And each of those facets of each person has many different vibrations. As I vibrate at whatever frequency I'm, as I have different thoughts and process different thoughts and feelings on different days and going up and down, I'm higher, I'm higher, I'm higher, I'm lower, lower, lower. As I'm doing that, every single person around me and everything that enters my consciousness is matching my frequency. So yes, you all exist, but you are mirroring and reflecting and sending back to me a reflection of my vibration. Now, this rules out the kind of co-creation. The terminology really makes it all very confusing. I do believe in co-creation, that I am creating my reality, as are each of us, and we've chosen to be here at this time and to experience the world as it is at this present moment, and whatever changes are afoot. But I am responsible for how I react to everything, and I'm responsible for, in a sense, for everything that enters my consciousness, depending on my vibration. It's a gift. It's an incredible gift, but it's suffocating at the same time to be awakened to this, because for the last few weeks I'm seeing it more and more. For the last day or 2 days I'm immersed in it, and I can see everything is a reflection of my vibration. The beauty of that is that I can see, by looking outwards, I can see where I'm at. The traffic is heavy, if kids are screaming, if there are annoying people around me, well, it's telling me how I am. It's telling me what is askew, if you like, within me, or what needs attention, what requires attention and healing. And if everything is blissful, then it's all good. My vibration is good and I'm good. Not that there is any good or bad, because they're constructs. But you know what I mean. So a few weeks ago, a friend sent me a video by Bashar. Bashar is a channeled being from, I think, 300 years in the future. And Bashar talks about, I'll put a link below, he talks about, that there is no out there. Everything is in here. And everything is just a reflection of us. So that helped to push me a bit further into contemplating this and seeing where these views can go. I feel that stillness is extremely important for me, and probably for anyone who, if you've got this far, anyone who listens to my videos. Just being in, now I know there's mindfulness, there's probably Zen words, there's all sorts of other spirituality words. I just tend to use stillness. Just being in the body, being in the senses, being completely present, being out of the mind, out of the ego, the monkey mind, being still. And it's not easy, but we can train the brain bit by bit to come back, and we can lose it again. We go off into, as the mind gears up again. But through that stillness, when we look around, I can see people, and I can see they're reflecting me. Some I don't, some I don't understand it, or I don't know. It doesn't matter. There's no need to get into it. I only get into it if there's a charge, if there's an energetic or an emotional charge. So if I feel annoyed or impatient or irritable or distracted or whatever it is, because of the traffic or the people or that guy in the queue in front of me or whatever, then it's like, okay, why? and rather than blaming him or looking at him, I observe my own core, really, my own energetic core, and I can feel it, say, between kind of my stomach, solar plexus, chest. It might be in all three of those, it could be in one of those. I can feel that energy, and I just observe that energy, and I speak to it, and I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for this feedback, to be shown this vibration that is within me, and I love it. I don't necessarily know where it came from or why it's within me. It doesn't really matter, but I'm grateful for it, and I embrace it. I love it as a piece of me. See, we're conditioned to love the things we like and not love and run away from and avoid and be ashamed of the things within us that we don't like. So it's teaching me to love what I previously disliked, what I would deem to be unacceptable or unspiritual or unhealthy or, anything negative. There is no negative. It's all good. It's all just feedback. It's all just experience and energy that we've come here to have. In a recent ceremony, I was shown a contract I had, or have, a soul contract I have with someone in this life, and some of the things that we did to each other, dark things in previous lives. And the purpose is that we play both sides of it. We become the victim and we become the perpetrator, to experience both sides of it. So neither is wrong, neither is bad. So now we look out in the world and we see the victims, and we run out to help the victims. Some of us do, some of us don't. But it's a tricky line, because by saying don't help the victims, or they've chosen this experience, people think you're saying, oh, don't help them. How dare you? How dare you leave them, the homeless people, or the people to be killed by Trump's bombs or Obama's bombs? I'm not saying that. So I'm going to avoid that subject. If you don't get me, I could spend a long time trying to explain myself. And if you do get me, great, let's keep going. We have chosen and invited these experiences, often, if not always, with the people who do these things to us, for our own spirit to experience this, perhaps suffering or pain, to make us more compassionate, empathetic to people who suffer, and to be a bit wiser so that we can communicate with them and understand their place. So there's a lesson in it, there's growth in it. We can't really know joy without knowing darkness or depression or a bit of pain. We can really appreciate what it's like to have a peaceful day or to feel good if you've really known dark times, depression. So the same goes for all these so-called crimes that we see. To experience both sides of it and the pain involved from both sides. The perpetrator suffers too. It's not just the victim. But there's growth, there's awareness. We do silly things and stupid things and we make mistakes. But there are ultimately no mistakes. It's all a learning experience, and it's all we're growing from all of it. We're experiencing and evolving from all of it. To begin doing this has become at times quite frightening, because there are moments of shock. There are frightening moments that, oh my God, this is my reality. I've had this for 20 plus years. Since I started meditating, I'd get moments where I'd say, it reminds me of the Talking Head song, You May Find Yourself. And I know that's not the name of the song, but I would walk down the road and I'd kind of go, oh my God, I'm here, wow. And I'd just become present, and I could see like I'm on earth and I'm in a body, and this is weird. But now I'm getting it much deeper, and from an emotional core level, seeing the coupling, I suppose, that I'm here in this physical plane, or supposed physical third dimension. I can see these things, I can see this reflection of my vibration, which in my head from my ego is not suitable, because it should be much more sunny, and I should be more wealthy, and I should be happier and more handsome, and all of these things that my ego construct wants. I want the world to be the way I want it to be. So I break through that and I realize, Jesus Christ, this is my life. And it is shocking, because I feel it, and I feel that pain, from perhaps many lifetimes, that pain that the ego is masking and hiding and denying constantly through all the chatter and all the talk and all the distractions and addictions and busyness and all that shit that can just kind of keep the pain at bay. And to break through that is initially quite unpleasant, only for a moment. It doesn't feel nice. But then there's a calm and there's an acceptance, to love it and appreciate that this is my vibration. I'm grateful to be shown this vibration of who I am at this time, or a fragment of who I am at this time. And the reflection, this physical reflection of my energy. So there's gratitude there, and there's love there, and appreciation to be shown this, to be able to see this, to have this feedback available to me, and to love it as my creation. I'll give you a little example. Just a moment ago, a Porsche Macan S, metallic grey paint, just drove past me with 19-inch alloy wheels. I love Porsches. I love the engineering. I love the power. I've never owned one. I think they're beautiful. I love anything that's done well, that humans put their energy into to create, a work of art, and to do properly. So this Porsche drives right past me, and previously I'd look at these cars and I think, wow, isn't that beautiful? Oh, I want that. And I'd feel that desire, that lust in me for this. Now I see that there's an emotional response that I wasn't previously unaware of. There is an emotional energy attached to that desire, which comes from a wanting, a yearning, a lack within my own spirit, my own heart. Perhaps that my own car is not good enough for me, that I feel shame, or I feel I haven't achieved enough, or I would be happier with, I would be better with. And really, obviously, it's not about the car at all, either car, although I still want the Porsche. It's about that hole in my soul. It's about that hole, that unacknowledged pain from wherever, from whenceever, it doesn't really matter, that just is looking for acknowledgement and healing. And with that love and that healing, we can patch up, or I can patch up that bit of the heart just a little bit more. So by acknowledging, first of all, my physical reflection, that my energy is drawn in of this car, I then turn my focus internally to my, wherever you may feel in your body, and I feel it in my chest, solar plexus, and I realize there's a lack there. And by healing that lack, by loving that lack, by being grateful for the reflection and the information, by loving that space and saying, I see, I understand, it's okay, everything is perfect as I am, I gradually fill up that void, and I need that car or money or woman or food or whatever it is, experience less and less, and become a little bit more at peace where I am right now. So I hope that might be of use to some people, or of interest, and I'm sure there'll be more stuff on this topic. So be free to sign up to the newsletter. I'll put a link below to subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment if you have any thoughts. Thanks for listening.